So, to be sure, it's a chilly day. And I don't know what she's up to. She just said, get into these clothes, get outside and sit. So here I am. It's Freedom Day in South Africa. And when I think of the concepts of freedom and how, as a little girl, I wasn't really allowed to walk in certain places. And we certainly weren't allowed in the one area just because we went to a certain church, who, to be sure, I'm sure we praised the same God. But not to get all heavy in that. I did mean at least the Irish were, they're musical and they're melodical and they always have a joke. We always have a joke. That, to be sure, we always have a joke. But when we came to South Africa, it was quite different because there was lots of different freedoms, restrictions, and all of a sudden it didn't matter which church I went to, but really the colour of my skin. And I used to get teased because of my ginger hair and the freckles, but I could not identify with what was being said. And at the end of the day, it all changed in 1994 when people stood with their freedom in queues for miles and miles and miles in order to put a little X on. And we were filled with hope, you know. We were just couldn't wait to get this new idea. But then I began to realize that the freedom is in the mind. I was always free as a little girl. I always made up stories and I was away with the fairies. Still am, probably. But I couldn't understand that the fear that gripped me was somehow deep, deep, deep in my blood. And I don't know whether it be my ancestors or where it comes from, but at the end of the day, the freedom that I began to feel was, even though we're sitting in lockdown here in South Africa and we can't go anywhere, we can go to the shop, maybe to get food, can't even get some booze. So in all else we drink tea, even though it's ginger tea, haha, because I got ginger hair. So not to be all morbid and serious, but the freedom is in my mind. And it was a couple of years ago now, to be sure, when I realized that this fear was all-encompassing. It wasn't just out there, it was in my heart, it was in my mind. And when I started to really understand that, then I began to let go of the idea that I'm not free. I read these books like with the Viktor Frankl, and he was in the concentration camps, and all these people that have been in prison, and they're freer in their mind than most of us women. And I'm talking women now, but in the general, we really are restricted by our thoughts. And it sounds all complicated and stuff, but you can play a good piece of music that moves you. You can listen to the birds singing a wee song, and you can feel free in your heart, you know. So at the end of the day, no matter what the outside circumstances, and the whole world seems to be locked down, so it seems like every single human right has become a human wrong. And at the end of the day, we just want to get a little bit of free in our hearts, free to be who we are, because we love people outside, but do we really love the inside? And yeah, this is getting really heavy for this Irish girl, but it's miserable. It's reminding me back home in Belfast and in Dublin. And at the end of the day, you can go, I can shut my eyes and I can be there. I can shut my eyes and I can be with my family if I want to be. Or I can shut my eyes and be in a pub, listening to the little banjo playing the music. I can shut my eyes and be at that Peter Gabriel concert down in Dublin. Oh, what a night that was. But at the end of the day, the freedom is in our minds. And no matter when the restrictions get lifted, I just hope that you begin to really understand that the freedom is a concept that comes from yourself. So, to be sure, top of the morning to you all, and cheers. Have a lovely Freedom Day from down here in Johannesburg.